everyone. It's Victoria from the Council on Aging and Social Services Departments. We are gathered here today with the organization, the Center for Living and Working. They are going to be meeting with us today to talk to us about what services that they offer and how they can help out our fellow Berliners. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for joining us today. We really do appreciate it.
Thank you for having us.
Absolutely. We are very curious to hear about what services you guys offer and how you'll be able to help us.
Wonderful.
All right. Whenever you all are ready.
All righty. So hello, everyone. My name is Nicole Brody. I am the Independent Living Services Manager for Center for Living and Working. I'm going to go over independent living and our independent living centers, and we'll also cover some of our services. All right, next slide, please. All right, so independent living centers. As a result of the social movements of the 60s and 70s and the Americans with Disability Acts in 1992, centers for independent living are consumer-controlled, consumer-based, cross-disability, non-residential, private nonprofit agencies that are designed and operated within a local community by individuals with disabilities and provides an array of independent living services so that they can live independently in the community versus an institution. There are actually 10 IOCs in Massachusetts. The mission for Center for Living and Working is to empower persons with disabilities to access the services and supports they seek directly or through our strategic partners to maximize independence and opportunity. We work to ensure that individuals with disabilities can live independently as equal members of society. We have a video to show you what that looks like.
CLW pays attention to the housing issues, the transportation, the healthcare, and other issues that hit us every day.
They help people to live independently.
In fact, I feel like a celebrity when they come here because they know me so well.
I'm surrounded by people who understand me and care about the same things I care about.
CLW helped me solve a lot of my problems.
They would do anything to help me achieve what I want to achieve.
If you really are motivated and you really want it bad enough that, you know, there are people to help pull through.
CLW really helps to promote it, and they have the resources where they can tell people where to go to get the things that they need to become more independent.
Clw Empowered Our Independence.
So the goal of our agency is to take our directions from persons with disabilities. We advocate to empower persons with disabilities to take active roles in their lives and in the community in which they live. We provide comprehensive and innovative programs and services in order to maximize individual independence and opportunity. Consumers must always be equal members of society with equal access. We create opportunities to promote independence, and we assist individuals with disabilities to achieve their maximum level of independent functioning within their families and/or communities. So independent living really is having control over your life. This means being able to make your own decisions and choices to the fullest extent possible. People with disabilities are often denied the right and opportunity to make their own decisions. The term independent living also describes a wide range of services to improve your ability in all activities. And independence may mean different things to different people, so it should always be defined by a consumer's voice and choice of resources or services. Center for Living and Working has a website, Facebook page, and also Instagram. So you can always stay connected with us and learn about all of the activities we have going on and services that we provide. So how do we become a consumer? A person can contact the agency via our website. They can call the main line. They can fill out a referral form. And the person who can make a referral could be themselves, the consumer themselves, a family member, social worker, a medical provider, or just an agency-based connection. No matter who makes that referral, the individual is always in the control of that service. CLW provides services throughout central Massachusetts, and our deaf and hard of hearing department goes a little bit beyond that. So we cover a wide range of areas and towns. Center for Living and Working has multiple departments and programs. We have our personal care management department, our independent living services department. We have long-term supports and services. We have youth services, as well as deaf and hard of hearing. And now I'll pass this portion off to my colleagues, Noelle and Evelyn.
Hi, I'm Evelyn Rodriguez Butler, and I'm the Informational Referral Specialist here at Center for Living and Working. I'm going to speak a little bit about our 5 core services at CLW. The first one is the independent and referral form that you, like Nicole, my colleague, stated, that you would complete in order to refer any consumers to CLW. The 5 cores is informational referral, peer support, skills training, advocacy, and transition. With that being said, we work with our consumer on achieving that independence in the home surrounding those 5 cores, which is to achieve their goals, remaining independent in the home and in the community.
We provide long-term supports and services coordinations for individuals who are dually eligible for Mass Health and Medicare and are enrolled in our Tufts and CCA programs. And what we do is we receive referrals from each of those health plans, and we go out and we do assessments for consumers, and we investigate their living environment, and we help the consumers to come up with services and supports that they can put in place in their home so that they can maintain their independence. We help them to get authorizations for services from their health plans, and then we coordinate those services for consumers. And we check in on them quarterly and annually just to make sure services are going well and that they're achieving their independent living goals by being able to stay in their homes.
The Youth Services Department at Center for Living and Working supports youth between the ages of 14 to 21 who are in high school and have a disability. We provide 4 core services to all youth with disabilities, which includes information and referral, peer counseling, skills training, and advocacy. We work with youth to gain independent living skills. We also work with youth through our pre-employment transition services to assist youth with disabilities in thinking about post-secondary education and work readiness skills. Next slide. Center for Living and Working has a robust personal care management department. The personal management department at Center for Living and Working supports supports individuals with disabilities who have a need for hands-on assistance in 2 activities of daily living. Individuals seeking access to the personal care management program should be enrolled in Mass Health Standard or Common Health. This is a consumer-directed non-agency model where the consumer is the employer and self-directs their own care.
The Deaf and Hard of Hearing Independent Living Services Department is very similar to the Independent Living Services Department at CLW, but there are some added benefits for individuals that are deaf and hard of hearing. The staff in this department use ASL to communicate with consumers and staff. There is a staff interpreter available for consumers and staff, and the Deaf and Hard of Hearing Independent Living Services Department really helps individuals get communication access across all areas of their life. Their core services are very similar. They have 4 core services, which is skills training, peer mentoring, advocacy, which is at the individual level and the community level, and information and referral as well. They have target areas of independence, healthcare, education and training, and advocacy and resources. And they also do a lot of work with assistive technology to help individuals that are deaf and hard of hearing. This could be fire alarm notifications, doorbell alerts, baby criers, and they help assess and evaluate what kind of equipment is needed, help order the equipment. They help to install and set it up if needed, and they provide training on how to use it. Next slide, please.
I'm married. I have a son who's 14. I am a full-time employee. I travel, I own a home, I go to theater, dinner, my son's baseball games. I'm loving life.
Oh, nice! That didn't even happen.
Jake walked around for like a half-hour calling.
If you have any questions or you're seeking to access services from Center for Living and Working, please feel free to contact us at any time. We look forward to hearing from you.
Ladies, thank you so much for that excellent presentation. You guys, it seems like the Center for Living and Working really kind of hits from all different areas, which is wonderful.
You're very welcome, and we do our best to support all individuals with disabilities in accessing the services and supports that they seek. You know, independent living to me may be very different than what independent living is to anyone else. So what we do is we always meet someone where they're at and work with them to support their independent living goals.
Absolutely. It's very important. As you guys said, it has to be a consumer driven model, because, you know, the consumer is the one that has to do the work, and they're the ones that, you know, they're the ones that are going to benefit most from it. So if they have to be satisfied, and, you know, meeting them where they're at, it's wonderful.
Absolutely. And we're there with the consumer throughout the whole process. So, you know, if you're working with anyone who might be interested in receiving services, or if someone is listening in, please feel free to contact us at any point. We're here to help.
Are there any services that due to like geographic limitations that Berliners wouldn't qualify for? I mean, it sounds like you guys cover a wide swath, but just in case, just for general knowledge.
Nope, we will service anyone who lives in the Berlin area. And if, you know, someone is calling us from Berlin, but the individual that they're looking to refer may live outside of CLW's service area, like Nicole said, we serve independent living centers, serve the entire state of Massachusetts. So we'll make sure that the individual is supported by the independent living agency that services their area.
Do you guys work with a lot of other agencies at the same time? Like if, say, for example, somebody were receiving like counseling, or if somebody were being referred to by like a doctor's office, do you guys tend to do a lot of co-work with other agencies or providers to help make sure that continuum of care is met?
Absolutely. Evelyn can speak very well to the close collaboration that we have with all other agencies.
So we receive referrals, I mean, like Nicole said at the beginning, from hospitals, nursing homes, DDS, it could be, again, it could be transitional assistance program, Social Security office, trying to make a referral for services at COW. One of the things that I do is I try to assess the situation before assessing and moving forward and assigning that case. So what I do is I try to gather as much information as I can to see how they would benefit from COW services. If at that point, okay, this consumer would benefit best from, let's say, from Department of Mental Health Services, or let's say the consumer would benefit best from DDS services, we would guide them on how to connect with them with the application process in order for them to receive the services that they're going to benefit best from. So it's not like every call that I get, no call is turned away. I do not allow them to, hang up and say, no, we did not receive the services at COW. I try to assess and determine, okay, this consumer is looking for a case manager. He's looking for a social worker. He needs a therapist. Okay, how is this consumer going to benefit best in order to remain independent in that home? And I will advise them. I would advise them and say, well, you know what? I feel that, this is the services that DMH will provide you with. They will provide you with a case manager, a social worker. Do you agree with me that this is something that you will benefit from? And if they say, well, gee, Evelyn, can someone help me with that application? I would move forward with assigning that case and provide that assistance with that application and submitting it.
Absolutely. Great job. I mean, honestly, unfortunately, a lot of these services out there, while they're wonderful, they can get so bogged down in complications of these, applications, and nothing is unfortunately straightforward anymore. And I look at these applications and I get confused, and I've been doing this for a decade. So I can only imagine somebody else who hasn't, seen these applications before. It's very easy to get overwhelmed. So, I mean, kudos to you guys really to best assess what can be done to help people out. On average, and I know it's hard to say right now, but like on average, from basically time when you guys get a call for a referral, how long does it normally take for cases to get assigned and for people to start services? Is there much of a lag time?
Well, as soon as I received the phone call, I would say the same day I return my phone calls to gather that information to see what services they're requesting. Usually I tell the consumers, this is the process. I'm going to assign a skills trainer, or I'm going to refer you to the PCN department or to the youth services, the DIL department. And please allow us 48 hours to return that call.
Okay. Excellent, like turnaround time. I mean, there's agencies it takes weeks easily. So kudos.
Well, to be honest with you, right now, we return calls immediately. I mean, it could be via email, it could be phone. And again, it could be 15, 20 calls a day. And I try to return those calls by the end of the day, if not first thing in the morning. We try to respond to them. But once the case and the information is gathered, and it's, the case is assigned, I do tell our consumers, please allow, our skills trainers to return the calls within 48 hours. And that's an independent living program.
Okay.
Erin, you might want to answer that as well.
For individuals that are looking to become enrolled in the personal care management department, Because the program is contingent on a clinical evaluation conducted by a nurse, and following state requirements, it takes 45 days to enroll an individual into the personal care management department.
Okay.
So what we do if an individual is needing assistance right away, we can work with them and their PCP, if the primary care physician, if needed, to access the services in the interim, such as home health aid, visiting nursing, things like that.
Okay. Good to know. I mean, 45 days, I mean, yeah, it may seem a lot in the moment, but as a whole too, I mean, it sounds like you guys have a good plan in place to try to get services up and running as fast as possible and help the person out, which is great.
That is right, yeah.
Can people, if say, for example, somebody were to qualify, could they technically have services from more than one department of CLW at the same time?
Absolutely. Many of our consumers are receiving services across departments. We really do our best to make sure that this individual is supported with wraparound services and supports. And that can include CLW programs and services, but also other services in the agent and within our community as well.
Okay. All right. Good to know. That's good. It's good to know. So it looks like basically from gathering what you guys were saying, really anybody like 14 and older, again, depending on potential disability or, any potential limitations they may have, can certainly benefit. And, it's wonderful to know that there are services out there that, like I said, I didn't know about majority of these. So I'm sure that, our residents are going to benefit from this knowledge. So we're very glad that you guys came on to let us know.
Oh, absolutely. Anytime.
Is there anything else that any of you feel like, we should be aware of, or anything else that, may not have been covered already that we would just need to be aware of?
I want to clarify that we also provide option counseling, which it could be a family member, the consumer themselves, or it could be, a hospital or another agency calling just to obtain additional information about services that we provide and what other services are out in the area that their consumers or referrals will benefit from as well.
Okay. No, good to know. Thank you, Evelyn. It's always good to know that that's an option for people.
And we not only just provide services to 14 and older, we provide option counseling for newborns, for, child that is born with a disability and the parent is calling for services for that child as well. So that's where the option counseling falls in.
Okay. Good to know. Because my goodness, it must be so overwhelming to, bring somebody new into the world, as overwhelming enough as it is. And then, another layer of potential obstacles there. It's wonderful that you guys are there to help out. It really is.
I'd like to add a couple other benefits of being a consumer of CLW and some other awesome people we have working for CLW. So we do have an ADA access coordinator who goes into cities and towns and evaluates them for accessibility. So if they find issues with accessibility and structural barriers and stuff like that, they can work with the city and town to make a plan to make those changes and make it more accessible for individuals with disabilities. We do host workshops every month for housing. We have in the past done financial literacy with consumers, and within the last 2 years, we've started doing virtual movie days, which helps with consumers that may be feeling isolated, that have access to Zoom. We watch a movie, we talk about it. We also work with Mass Rehab Commission, which is vocational rehabilitation. And those individuals are usually seeking to go back to work. They're individuals with disabilities that are seeking to go back to work or further their education. And we help them with the independent living side of that. And then we also have access to Title VII Part B, which is funded by MRC. And this helps to give funding to individuals that need equipment, assistive technology, stuff like that, that may not be able to access it from other resources. So we help them figure out, have you tried every resource that's available? And we help with the application and the eligibility process. And we kind of stay with them throughout that process, which is really cool.
Wow. Thanks, Noelle, for letting us know that. That's awesome.
I just wanted to circle back in regards to our housing workshop. You know, it really is designed for to teach consumers about the options that are available to them, so that they can learn how to apply on their own and advocate for their own. Sometimes because of our name, we always want to make sure people know that we don't have any facilities to put people in. We don't have housing or things of that nature. What we're really trying to do is empower people with knowledge about the housing system and how to navigate that. So that's what they can expect from the housing workshop. And then should they need individual support on how to apply, then they can get assigned to a skills trainer and we can actually help them with the applications. So I just wanted to make sure that that was translated as well.
No, thank you, Nicole. Absolutely. Well, ladies, anything else you guys would like to share about your wonderful agency?
Thank you so much for the opportunity to come today and talk with you. We really appreciate it.
Oh, it's our pleasure. I mean, like I said, it's, you know, this is an agency that, again, you know, you look at the title and you may think one thing, but yet you guys offer so much. And it sounds like you guys can do so much for so many, you know, whether it's short-term or long-term help. And, you know, at this day and age, we need all the help we can get. And knowing that you guys are out there fighting a good fight for us, thank you. And, you know, like I said, thank you all so much for your time. We know it's a hectic time. So we thank you all very much.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you so much.
We'll probably bring you back at some point. I suspect we may be doing, you know, maybe a webinar, or maybe, you know, like you said, especially like that, those housing sessions that you guys are having, you know, that's definitely information. Whatever you guys feel like sharing, we will gladly post for Town of Berlin, okay?
Absolutely. Thank you.
All right, ladies. Well, thank you guys so much for your presentation. And everybody in Berlin, like I said, just let us know if you have any questions, and we will make sure that CLW's information is up so you guys can make referrals and we can take it from there. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.